Almost trying to catch up with News Corp journalist Anthony Piovesan about the latest stories that are making headlines in local government and beyond. Anthony, welcome back. We missed you last week, but we've got some stories to catch up on. Where do we start? Is it to do with the Hume councillor being booted out without pay?
Yeah, interestingly, that happened only a couple of days after
the 60 Minutes expose?
Yes. And this councillor happens to be Labor aligned as well. So basically, at the end of last year, there were a series of text messages that this councillor named Kurt was engaged with and subsequently leaked to councillors and staff and the public. And these councillors showcased him being misogynistic to his peers. He threatened to bottle the mayor. He said that he had bashed the deputy mayor. He was saying things like, I can only tolerate homosexuals if they don't flaunt it in front of me. He was insinuating that Indians in his community would only help him gain multicultural points when he would run for re-election at the next council elections in October. So all of this was made public and he admitted to that, and subsequently the council has issued this notice and he's stepped down without pay for the next couple of months to think about his actions.
So is that because they're going to carry out an investigation, or is it for him basically to think about his behaviour and do something about it? Is he going to go anger management classes or what?
The council investigated it with the local government inspectorate, so that's over, and basically the next 2 months he needs to think about his actions and before he comes back to council pretty much.
So he does have an opportunity to come back into council?
Yeah, he told me he will be coming back, so that's his intention, and he said that he intends to build trust again and run at the next council elections.
Well, that'll be interesting. Yeah. Forgive and forget, wow. Don't think that happens too readily in the public life.
And not in politics.
Yeah, correct. Now, we've just heard Whittlesea Council, which the last time you and I discussed, were right in the middle of some real shenanigans. They had just signed a deed of confidentiality with the former CEO. Now, what's the latest at Whittlesea Council?
So they've appointed 2 administrators, and there is now a panel of 3 administrators which will take them through to the 2024 council elections. So we've got there now Bruce Bilson, who was a former Liberal MP, former CEO at Hastings Shire Council, and we've got Peter Duncan, who's the chair of Greyhound Racing Victoria and a current board member at Metropolitan Fire Brigade. So that's
good credentialed people to step in at Whittlesea Council. Simon Overland has taken the money and left. Yeah. And do we know what amount of money he's taken, or still not disclosed? Not
officially, but a source close to Simon and close to me has told me that it's around the $400,000 mark. Yeah, and that will be paid over 3 instalments in the next 12 months.
Another story that just won't go away concerns Hume Council again. This time they've decided to introduce safety cameras, security cameras, CCTV, to deal with a problem of vandals ramming the gates at local ovals and deciding that the best place to spin their car out is on the oval, on the pitch.
Yeah, and unfortunately this is at local sport clubs who have to pay the price for this.
So this isn't a once-off. It's happening way too often.
Yeah, it's happening at multiple facilities over the past few weeks, and the damage bills are running into the tens of thousands of ratepayers' money. So council is trying to put a stop to it now, and hopefully with more CCTV this will deter the
So is this a trend? Are we seeing more and more councils choosing to go down this pathway, CCTVs wherever they think they will be needed?
Yeah, we've seen it at quite a few councils now. I've reported on it multiple times. Over at Nillumbik Council, they're using quite a lot of CCTV to catch illegal dumpers who are dumping materials like asbestos.
Seems to be an epidemic.
Yeah.
I don't know whether it's the COVID-19 pandemic that's caused it, but people seem to be taking the easy way out. They're dumping everything. Asbestos is not something you should be dumping.
No, No, it's a toxic substance,
absolutely.
and that needs to be disposed of correctly.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, you're right. There is definitely a plague of illegal rubbish dumping. Only last financial year, Whittlesea Council spent 2.5 million clearing rubbish dumped illegally. So that was just last financial year when there was no pandemic and, you know, none of this craze about cleaning houses and all of that. So
Now,
imagine now.
Now, since the last time you and I spoke, we have another crackdown from state government saying that we have to consider once again self-isolating as much as possible. There's been a bit of a cluster and the contagion seems to be spreading, or community spreading. So, and there's been another concern, Hobson Bay having some problems with one of the ingredients that we think we need, especially if we're going to use their toilets and their restrooms, and that is
soap.
Soap.
Pretty hard to wash your hands without soap. But
so what? No soap available, or
well, yeah,
someone's pilfering?
Yeah. Well, so I was told by a number of residents that, hey, we're trying to use the public toilets here. We're just out walking our dogs. We go in and there's no soap. So I went to the council and they said, yeah, we don't have any soap dispensers in any of our public toilets because they've been vandalised. So we're testing some more robust dispensers in the meantime. But in the meantime, you've got basically a second wave of coronavirus about to hit the city. And I guess it just sends a message that, you know, hygiene isn't important.
Absolutely.
So
I cannot believe it.
Yeah.
Well, Anthony Piovesan, as we promised the first time, an opportunity to talk about and raise topics and stories that aren't getting much of an airplay anywhere else. Herald Sun has been covering many of these stories. Is there anything else that you want to give us a heads up about before we give it a break and catch up with you next week? Have you mentioned anything about the arrival of the 1,000 members of the ADF who will be part of the assault team to help the state government fight COVID-19 in Melbourne?
Oh, yeah. Well, only today the state government has narrowed down a priority list of 10 suburbs. So
what does that mean? So they've chosen what, 10 targeted areas, hotspots, are they?
Yeah. So they had originally had the municipalities that they were concerned about, but now they've narrowed down a list of suburbs. And
so what are we going to see?
You'll see vans in streets and residents being tested in their own street with or without symptoms.
We're not talking about Mr. Whippy vans, we're talking about legitimate medical units conducting testing.
Yeah, medical vans without an upbeat tune.
Exactly.
Just with plenty of testing equipment, and yeah, this will be a very large scale testing exercise, it seems, and basically this will happen all in the next 10 days, and after that finishes there may be another list of priority suburbs. We don't know, but for now they're focusing on these areas. You know, they involve Reservoir, Keilor Downs, Pakenham, Hallam, Brunswick West, Sunshine.
Is Moreland getting a run? Not that you know of.
Brunswick West.
Yeah.
That's all I can think of in Moreland.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's see you again in a week's time and see how some of this testing has been received and what is next to follow. Yeah. Anthony Piovesan, thank you for joining us on The Informer and for giving us a heads up about some of the things that we don't readily think about but affect all of us.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm here telling real stories from real people. Thanks for having me.